Oh, it's recording. Okay. I just want to go over a few of your answers for the noun pronoun exercise questions. For the most part, you really nailed it and got, just knocked out of the park. I don't think it's anything that's really that difficult, but this is an area, noun pronoun agreement, it was really an area where many students struggle, surprisingly. So I just want to go over a few of the questions. Like I said, we're going to start with numbers 14 and 15, which confused some people. 14 and 15, the issue with these is that the pronoun in both of them is ambiguous. So if you look at 14, it says the supervisors told the workers that they would receive a bonus. And when you look at the they, you can think that it has a couple of interpretations. It could be the supervisors or it could be the workers, meaning the supervisors told the workers that the supervisors would receive a bonus, or the supervisors told the workers that the workers would receive a bonus. So it's not really clear who the they is referring back to. I guess it's also possible that they refers to somebody totally unrelated to the supervisors or the workers. Instinctually, or you might not have been able to correct this easily. In other words, you might have seen the issue, and I think most of you did, but you didn't really know how do you fix it. And that makes a lot of sense because intuitively, you don't know who the they is actually referring to, so you wouldn't naturally know who to stick in that spot, the supervisors, the workers, or someone else. Really the point is just that if you saw that the they was ambiguous, that it didn't clearly refer to any specific person, then you would get the question, where you did get the question correct. But it was just a matter of recognizing that they is ambiguous. The same thing in 15. Fred visited Bob after his graduation. Well, Bob and Fred are both male, and his is a male possessive pronoun, so it could be interpreted as Fred visited Bob after Fred's graduation, or Fred visited Bob after Bob's graduation, or it could be a third person who, Tony, who we don't even see in the sentence. So the his there is also ambiguous. So those are ambiguous pronouns. Like I said, you don't necessarily instinctually know who to put there because you didn't write the sentence, so how would you know who this was actually referring to? And in fact, you won't get a sentence like this on the test at the end, but it is just good to recognize when there is an ambiguous pronoun, and just to clarify if when there is an issue for your reader. The other one I want to go over is number 11. Number 11 says, the two most appreciated people at work, Laura and me, are the two most underappreciated people at home. What's happening here is this is the difference between I, the subjective pronoun, and me, the objective pronoun. With this sentence, the reason why me is incorrect, and you probably saw that and just corrected it without an issue, but the reason why it's incorrect is because it's taking the place of the two most appreciated people. Those two people are Laura and I. The reason for that is because you use I, the subjective pronoun, in place of the subject. So here, Laura and I is renaming the subject, two most appreciated people at work. So because it's renaming a subject, I need the subjective pronoun I. So that's great. You can't say Laura and myself. The reason for that is that myself is a reflexive or intensive pronoun. It's reflexive in the sense of you have to have the subjective pronoun I in the sentence to use myself. For example, if I said I cut myself, myself reflects back like a mirror. Myself reflects back to I. The subjective pronoun, the subject I, is in the sentence, and myself is referring back to it. I cut myself, again. Intensive would be an example like I myself will deliver this letter. I myself will deliver this letter. It's intensifying I as the subject. It's intensifying the subject. So myself is used only in those two situations, when it's reflexive or when it is intensive. It can't be used like I. It can't be used like a subjective pronoun. And this is a mistake. It's really an overcorrection. Every time we say you and I, it's you and I, it's you and I. Well, I is not always appropriate. And so people started saying you and myself, or especially when it's a compound subject. the I, for whatever reason, is now being replaced with myself because it sounds better than me and it sounds longer than I, and so it just seems like the right thing to use, but it's technically not. Last, number 2, the board of directors made its decision to pass the proposal. So the board is another collective noun, and collective nouns are those group of people that act together as a singular unit in their singular words. So the board there's another example of a collective noun. Collective nouns are, you can think of them as genderless, even though they'll have people in them who obviously have genders. They're genderless. So they're genderless, they're singular, which means it should be ITS. Okay? I think that's really it. If you have any other questions about any of the pronouns that we've discovered so far, please let me know. And if you need to make an appointment or if you want to come in and review your test, let me know that too. And I hope you're really enjoying law school and all of the great time off that we've been getting in the last few weeks that are totally throwing me off. So if you have any questions, again, just let me know. Take care and good job.